Hi, this is Lori Leiker from Search and Convert. I'm managing partner over here. And thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking with a member of our team about a really important area of business that we think that everyone needs to talk about, and that is how to support businesses that are marginalized through crises like the pandemic, but also moving forward. How do we deal with society as it is now by supporting marginalized businesses? Take a listen to my interview with PJ Christie. So today we're talking with PJ Christie, our intrepid CEO and founder, about our initiative that started back when George Floyd got killed. It's called Black Businesses Matter, and it's something that we're really proud of to do here at Search and Convert. Hi, PJ.
Hi, how's it going, Lori?
It's going great. Tell us a little bit about why you decided that this was important.
Well, it was actually an extension of what I had already been doing. I had already been providing pro bono services to people through the community, and a lot of them were African American owned companies. And I had been doing that for years prior to George Floyd. When George Floyd happened, and we saw all of the the conflict and and really frankly the need that was out there, the stories that were told just showed a real need for equity. And equity is one of those personal values of mine. And I was trying to think, well, how can I turn this into something more of a program so that people could apply for it? I had done a couple of things in the past with former companies. We did one called a 24-hour web project, where we selected a nonprofit and then built a website for them in a day. And that was a big project. It would usually require 4 or 5 of us to be locked in with the team from the nonprofit. And we had already done one around food rescue. And then we had done another one around a Black Performing Arts Center in Indianapolis, the Madam Walker Theater. So it's not like the idea came from out of nowhere, but the idea to do it as part of Search and Convert was new. And in that sense, my real goal was to go beyond what I had done before, which is to say, if you're at this level, I can help you get to here, and being at a place where I just meet entrepreneurs really where they are, and help them through the problems that they're having at the moment. So it changed, the way that I offered it changed slightly. It became a lot more open-ended and a lot more collaborative than what I had been doing before. And I think we got better results because of it.
So when we were first talking about this, one of the things that struck me is that Black businesses make up only about 6% of all small businesses. And their access to people of color in the community who do the kind of work that we do is limited. It's only 9.4% of all the people who do SEO who are of color. And so it really has hurt those Black businesses to not have that access, because a lot of times they don't have the funding that other types of businesses would. So I know that when we first started this, we had a team put together led by our director of search, Armando Martinez, who was spearheading it. What was that first cohort like for you?
Oh, it was really special. I think one of the things that made it special was how deliberate and determined I had to be in order to find 5. It was my goal to find 5 companies to support through the first cohort of the program, and going, having just having the conversation over and over again about this is what I want to do, and the old friendships rekindled, the new friendships that came along. That was really the best part for me. I felt like the results were going to be the results that I've gotten used to, but the result I had not gotten used to is how much closer Elijah and I became after working on a project like this together, and then new friendships that I created along the way. They were all really meaningful.
And that's Elijah May.
Yeah, and also Najee Kelly was another Black entrepreneur I had helped in the past, and was able to get him into the program, move him up another level too. So on the new side of that first cohort, it was really exciting to see what Shaka was doing. You know, he was very much like calling out the white citizens of Austin to do more. He was really specific about it, and what he said resonated with me. You know, the program was already set by the time I had encountered Shaka online. So it really seemed in that case like two people who were really looking to solve the same problem. Actually, the list of problems he's solving is so much greater than just anything that I can help him with. For him, it's really like any little thing that I can do to make what he does more effective is good for the community. So yeah, it's good new people along the way.
And you're talking about Shaka Mahone. Tell me a little bit about what he does that makes him so special.
Well, first, he's a musician, which I really relate to, and he's an entrepreneur, which I really relate to. So he's making music at a really high level, which gets me really excited. And I get so excited to work with creative people like Shaka and his wife, Key, by the way. She's really creative too. So so for him, it was like seeing that. My first thought was we'll help him get his music kind of out there and released, but I didn't realize that he had this whole fashion thing going on, which has really taken off for him as he's gotten into the Macy's incubator. Seeing that he was so involved, not just in fashion and entrepreneurship that comes along with it, and the music and the entrepreneurship, but also just the way that he gives back. His Dawa organization was just so cool, and so you know, it's so decentralized and makes direct impact, which I really admire. And then lastly, what he does in service to the music community. He was on the Austin Music Commission and advocating for a Black Lives Music Fund. And we actually built a website for the Black Lives Music Fund. So he was just doing so many things and going in so many directions. And as you know, anybody who's creative and has a lot of entrepreneurial energy, you leave loose ends. So really, you know, my enthusiasm was on making sure that all of his loose ends were wrapped up so he could continue to be creative.
What was really impressive to me was how much time he spent making sure that Black musicians in Austin were taken care of during the pandemic, during lockdown specifically. And because that was a hard time for all musicians in Austin, but especially those in the Black community.
Yep, for sure. I think you know, and he didn't just approach it with a single solution. He looked at systemic solutions, which, you know, he engaged himself, and he also looked at direct action solutions. So yeah, he's just not looking at one way. He's all the tools in the tool belt.
We also just finished a cohort with 3 really great companies, one of which is the one I worked with the most, which is Courtney Jones from Change One. Yeah. Why did you agree to take on Change One?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was a little bit of a outside of the box solution for them. You know, for one thing, I had worked with a lot of nonprofits, but we had focused Black Businesses Matter on for-profit companies. That's just, I guess, by the nature of how it all came together. And so I think that there was a chance to broaden where our impact was. And I really, when I think about impact of the program, I really think of it in terms of lives changed. And what Courtney was doing is just so, like, she's got direct experience in this area. And, you know, if her nonprofit is successful, lives will be changed. And now she was in a pretty, like, she was really at square one in terms of her web identity. And so that's another example of what I was talking about, how usually we would wait for somebody to have the website done before we began doing that kind of work. And with Courtney, it was pretty clear that we should just start doing the work, the design work, you know, the brand work that needed to be done. And you know, I think, you know, I'm proud of her new site and proud of what she does. And proud of just I mean, again, I kind of look at what we do as like the meringue on the lemon pie, right? You can still very much enjoy that lemon pie, and the meringue is kind of a, an extra nice thing to have on top of it. But to the people who support nonprofits, they expect to see the nonprofit at a certain level. And if a nonprofit is not expressing themselves at that level, then they're not going to get the funding, unfortunately, that some of the more advanced ones get. And that was really the problem that we seek to solve with Change One. And I'm just so excited for Courtney and what she's doing.
We did a lot of work for her, a lot of content, a lot of design. What Courtney does is she supports kids who are aging out of the foster system in Texas, and specifically in the Austin area. She is one of those kids that aged out, and she was working in the foster system to support those kids, but saw a need for additional education for them so that when they age out, they're prepared with how to run a home, how to buy groceries, how to balance a budget, things like that. And so to be able to help her, for me, was such a privilege, to be able to get her the attention that she needed. And she's won all kinds of awards, and I'm just really proud of her, very proud of her. We also worked with Shannon Stott, who was really fun. Shannon has improv inside and out, and she not only does improv but theater, but she also does improv for businesses. Because and I just found that so much fun and fascinating, because you have to be innovative, you have to be able to think on your feet, and what she does brings that. How did you meet Shannon?
So Shannon, I met over here. I'm at VUCA co-working right now. You can see the dramatic background of the whiteboards, which are omnipresent all around the space. But she was a member. I'm a member, and she stands out in a room because of her Mohawk afro. Anyway, so as it turned out, there was a happy hour, and I introduced myself to her, and we found that we had a lot in common. And I didn't really approach her with the Black Businesses Matter. We're kind of in between the first and second cohort right at that moment. But as I described the program to her and asked her if she thought that she needed help, she was enthusiastically received my support. So and then the friendship really blossomed. I mean, once you have a collaboration with somebody, something that you can really work on with them, the personal relationship can develop really quickly. And so she and I, we became pretty good friends through the work.
She's a lot of fun.
And
so we, similar to what we did with Courtney, we helped her with her website. She had a web developer, but we basically, this was at the beginning of our Will This Convert product development. And we took a look at her website and gave her suggestions. And when she saw that those suggestions were going to work, she had her web developer go in and make those. But we gave her copy, we gave her artistic design suggestions, and man, she's off to the races.
Yeah, she sure is. She sure is. And what she's doing is looking better than ever online.
Yep. So all in all, would you call the Black Businesses Matter program a success?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hardly ever satisfied with anything. That's just the nature of me, my personality, and being a CEO, right? Is that I'm never really fully satisfied with anything. But in terms of the way that my satisfaction, I'm very satisfied with the results. If any time that I can build new relationships, help stabilize my community, and have some fun along the way, I think is I mean, what else could I want from a business? I wish that every business owner found a way to include some version of this program in what they do, because the way that it brings your team together is it brought my team together. What it did for me personally to put my ego aside and work with new people on and really just be open to I mean, we wouldn't have done a Wix site if it weren't for Black Businesses Matter. there's been a lot of those kinds of things along the way where it put us in a place where we had to figure some things out, just like every entrepreneur does, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I wish that I really, again, I just want to say, I wish every business owner found a way to implement some version of this program into what they do, because it's super meaningful.
And I know in working with the team through the process, I know that everybody was enthusiastic every time we had a meeting with one of the members of the cohort.
Everybody wanted to be on it.
All of them. Everybody wanted to be on the meeting.
Yeah.
And everybody just really had a great time in supporting these companies who were doing vital work. I mean, when you look at Shaka and you look at Elijah and you look at Courtney, they're doing vital work in the community. And to be able to support the Black community that way, even though neither you nor I are people of color, I'm about as white as you can get. But for me, in my family history, this was so important to me, because I grew up with a father who was leading the charge for desegregation in the 60s.
Yeah, that's right. You have a lived desegregation experience. Yeah.
Yep. And so to be able to do this was just like my father's dream come true.
Yeah.
And I know that everyone's enthusiasm for the project just carried everybody through. And I'm looking forward to the next cohort. So when do you think we're going to start looking at companies for the next cohort? Fall?
Probably in the fall. Yeah. I'm thinking about where my head is at with it. Is what I'd like to do is to find some ambitious Black freelancers, or any freelancer of color. I really at the point where I think we can open it up to, any marginalized community at all. But I would love to be able to find like a junior SEO person, a junior ads person, a junior designer, just some people who have, some raw talent and some ambition. And if I imagine that there's somebody out there who's like I was when I was, early in my career, I'd sure love to be able to bring a small group of like 6 people and talk about what it means to set up an LLC, and talk about what it means to manage Google Apps for your organization, or whatever there's a lot of problems that need to be solved along the way if you're going to be a freelancer that turns into an agency, and I've solved those problems multiple times. So I'd really like to be able to find, if I think about impact and I think about the way that it can change somebody's life to learn these skills, then I really begin to think, how can I develop the skills in others? And then, wouldn't it be cool if each of those people went and started up their own agency? And, that would be a big step towards equity, I think, in the community.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you very much, PJ, for talking to me today about our Black Businesses Matter program. And we'll be having some additional information coming forth in the coming months about what we're going to be doing in the fall. So look forward to it. Thanks.
Okay.
PJ.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Lori Leiker from Search and Convert. We'd love to hear from you at pm@searchandconvert.com. Thank you.